What's up, everyone? On this week's episode, we are back on the local band series, starting out first with the band Commodity out of Birmingham, Alabama, and then we move out east for some pop punk with the band Sucker Punch. We actually recorded this episode several weeks back, but with some of the scheduling, this episode got delayed, and so some of the upcoming shows and stuff that we talk about have actually already happened. So you should head up their social medias, see what you may have missed, and yeah, we had a ton of fun with this one. So let's open this pit up.
Somebody hit somebody!
What's up, everyone? Thanks for jumping on this episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast. I'm Kyle, here with Trevor. And yeah, we got some, I guess, good stuff to talk about today, like always.
Hopefully it's good, right?
At this point, I don't know. We're what, almost like 60 episodes in? If people
That's
don't know what
true.
we're about, then that's on them. So,
Yeah,
anyways, how you doing, man? What's up?
I'm good, man. This week is been a little slow. I started a new gig, and so it's been just busy trying to get my feet under me. And you know, new jobs are always interesting.
Yeah. It's always super weird first starting out and having to like figure out the dynamic and stuff like that. That's
Which,
like way more stressful.
dynamic wise, the team is awesome, dude. Like, it's super fun. It's super crazy, and we went out to San Diego where the company's based out of, and it's just a small startup company, right? So there's like 13 of us. And dude, it got wild. Like,
When you say like crazy and wild, you're talking about like lines of cocaine in the bathroom and stuff, or
absolutely no. No, just like, listen, this is probably a very sheltered take, right? Being from Utah. I've got a mouth, you've had a mouth in the past kind of thing. But dude, these guys took Sailor to the next level kind of thing. So
yeah.
and it was a ton of fun. I had no problem with it. It was awesome. It was a great time. Had a lot of fun. But I've not been at a work event and heard that level of like language in a minute. And the last time we did, it was me using that language, and I got pulled into an office and said I gotta stop. So
yeah. No, I mean it's true. Moving down to Dallas and working on with different teams and stuff that I've had since I've been down here. I mean, language is definitely that's that not a culture shock because, like you said, you and I have said a few words in our days, right?
just a few.
Just a few. We try to keep the podcast somewhat as clean as we can, but we don't care or whatever. That's just how we are now and stuff. But like moving down here and working with people where it's like okay in the workplace was like a little bit different, right? Because I was like, I can say that
Right.
now. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna get in trouble. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I hear
exactly.
that. So, well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it makes it fun. It makes it so you don't have to tiptoe around people, and that's always
Yeah.
that's always good.
Yeah, except I don't know. There's also lines for a reason because I've also had a couple people, even down here by these standards, say stuff. We were like, oh, I don't know about that, man.
I'm all for it. There's not very many lines you can cross with me, honestly.
Yeah.
So
No, not to me, but to other people. I'm just
sure.
like, I don't know, man. But yeah. You doing anything fun for Easter?
No, I mean, well,
Do
yes.
your
We
kids get days?
always
Are your kids getting days off of school for it?
no,
Dude, my kids get Friday and Monday off for it.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it? Don't they call it like Good Friday or something
Good
like
Friday.
that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty common in most places. I think that a lot of places close down like half day is what I've been hearing, but I think my kids just go straight through.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, no, my kids got Friday and Monday off. And then they're freaking closing schools down here the Monday of the eclipse.
That's dope.
It's wild. But they're not doing it so that they can see the eclipse. They're doing it because there's going to be like an influx of people and it's going to cause issues in the city. So they're literally canceling schools so that people can just be at home.
Okay, so that's dumb. It sounded cool, and then you explained it.
I
That sounds
know.
dumb.
There's
So
a city down here that's already declared like a state of emergency because they're going to have 200,000 additional like tourists just for like the span of 2 days for the eclipse, and they
is there
can't handle it.
something special about Dallas? Like, is it just you can see like way more down there or
So
something?
we're one of the only like actual like big cities that's in the path of it.
Oh,
So
interesting.
if it's not Dallas, then you're going to like Texarkana or something,
Interesting.
and nobody, people that live in Texarkana don't want to be in Texarkana, So,
Gotcha.
so yeah, I think everybody's just like flooding to Dallas, and I've heard that like hotel rates are insane right now, and they're all booked up. Is what I've heard. I don't know because
When is
I
the
live here. I don't really
eclipse?
care. It's what, like not this Monday, but the next.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, like, we just got flights to come down and see you guys, right? And I even feel like the hotel prices for when we're down there seem like they're even a little bit higher too. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't I don't know, but I
Just the
don't think
time
you
to go
guys
to
are coming. I don't think
Dallas.
you guys are coming during that.
No, no, no. It won't be during that.
No.
So it's the
We bought
end of the month.
we bought glasses, to look at it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of nervous because we bought them off Amazon. So I'm like, what if they're just like tinted glasses? Like somebody got like dark tinted 3D glasses and just sold them as like eclipse glasses.
I mean, isn't it one of those things where it's like it's supposed to be like a slit? It's like a slit plus stuff. I don't know.
I haven't actually looked at them yet, but I just kind of feel like we're gonna get scammed, and this is the last time I'm ever gonna see you. So,
uh, oh my gosh, dude,
because
you
I'm just
take
gonna be,
things way to the extreme. Your
my eyes are
comments.
gonna melt like the end of Indiana Jones, where they open the ark.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty much plan on that happening. So,
Well, great. What about what about show announcements, new music, stuff like that? What's going on down there?
shows, I don't know. I don't think I've really seen much.
I mean, if it wasn't this week, it was last week. But Furnace Fest dropped like their announcement of like bands
Yeah,
actually listed, and it is
yeah,
a solid lineup. And
it's
it still
crazy.
says that there's more to be announced.
Yeah, I don't. They don't even have to announce more. I would pay to go see what they announced already.
Oh,
So
100%.
like, I'm completely sold on it.
I'm still holding out hope that Misery Signals makes an appearance on there because Comeback Kid showed up, so they've already got their guitarist there. So why not?
Yeah, yeah, that would be sick.
Trying to think of
Yeah, I don't know. There's tons of bands, dude, and if it's anything, if it's half of what it was last year, then it's still dope. But it seems
right.
like it's going to be more than last year. Look, it's their last one, right? They're going to have to go hard. Like,
They're going
but
out.
the stuff they've announced is really cool and it's worth it. But I don't know that I still feel like they might be holding an ace up their sleeve, on
I
like,
kind
this
of
is
do
the last
too.
Furnace Fest ever. We're going to get Creed or something. I don't know.
I know, but like, can you announce the headliners and then drop just like a bombshell of a band?
Yeah.
Yeah, just I don't know, man. Still saying it. Parkway playing Killing with a Smile. That would be cool. Surprise sets. Just
Yeah.
don't even announce who the bands are and just leave
Or no,
open
you're just
slots.
like there and they're like, oh, it ends at 8. Last band plays at 8, but like typically that last band
Then
plays at 9. And so
10
you just
o'clock.
know something's coming.
That'd be
Yeah.
dope. That'd be a cool way to do it.
Maybe that's what we should do too. We should like, if we go, like start rumors and stuff.
Right?
Be like,
Dude,
dude, I totally heard this band's playing.
I was just talking to Winston McCall, man. He's just around back there.
Yeah.
Parkway flew in from Australia.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That would be hilarious.
The one that I've been seeing a ton of announcements for is the Big Texas Metal Festival. Have you
Yeah.
been seeing stuff for that?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw some of the announcements. I mean, if you're into metal, which I'm not, it would be cool to go to.
Listen, man, this is the old stuff. They're bringing back All Shall Perish.
I saw that.
Yeah. Within
That one.
Ruins,
Uh-huh.
Hatebreed, Impending Doom, like Throwdowns is listed.
Yeah.
Who was the last band that I saw was the Red Chord. They're
I
coming
don't care
back.
about that.
That wasn't a name that I expected to see. I haven't heard about the Red Chord
Who
in
did
a
we
long
see
time.
them with?
Parkway, wasn't
Oh,
it?
was it with Parkway? No,
Oh, I don't know.
I don't. I don't know either.
I don't remember. We saw him on something, but I don't remember.
But All Shall Perish. That's crazy.
It'll be interesting because I don't love his vocals with Suicide Silence.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that they throw down that. What was the album that had like the Statue of Liberty on it? That album was insane and so good.
Which one was it? Yeah, the Awaken the Dreamers.
Yes, dude.
2008. Oh, that intro, dude, it's like dun 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 dun. Dun. Yeah, dude.
That All Shall Perish album is so good. When they announced that he was going to be the Suicide Silence guy taking over for Mitch, I was pumped. And it has not been good.
Oh, dude,
So,
I totally forgot about this.
so good.
This song's way good. The When Life Meant More.
I
Yeah,
don't even remember song names. I just remember that
it's just
album
the
being
first
just
one,
nuts. Yeah.
but I'm still not going. But it's cool, you know.
You're
So
such a metal hater, man.
I think it's down in Austin too. Is it?
Is that where it
Yeah,
is? Or
yeah,
is
it's in Austin.
it Austin or San Antonio? I don't
No,
know.
it's Austin. Yeah, I was looking at it.
Yeah, Austin
I'm
in
not.
May.
I'm not driving to Austin for that.
You freaking
It's like a
kills you right
4 hour
now.
drive, dude. That's
So who cares? Just go.
Give me a backstage pass and I'll go.
Right?
You hearing that, Texas Metal Fest? The little dinky podcast. Give me a backstage pass and I'll go.
We'll shout you out. You know,
Yeah.
I was I threw it out on Instagram or whatever. I'm like, I need to go to KublaCon next week. I'm not paying $125. So I tagged
Yeah.
all the bands in there. They all
See if
looked at it. No one said anything.
No one said anything. They're probably like, dude, this kid's an idiot.
Exactly. So had a couple
I would have
other
responded and been like, dude, meet me in the back of this place and I'll get you a ticket. And then we just beat you up.
there's a couple other people though that reached out and they were like, seriously, like, how do we sneak into this or something? Because not
Where's it
paying
at?
the complex, dude. I
You could
thought there
probably
was
sneak in
no
there.
way that was going to sell out. There was no way.
I
But
haven't been to the complex in a while. I don't remember how big it is.
I don't know what side they're going to put it on. So they've got the two sides, right? They've got the small side, which I saw Story of the Year at last year.
Yeah.
It was great. But they have the big side, which is where
Uh,
I'm hoping that they put it over there. Because if it's on the small side, it's going to be way too violent. It's already going to be too violent with Tsunami, Judiciary, Momentum, and Kubla Khan. But
yeah.
you put it in the small side, and it's going to be way too violent.
Yeah.
So,
People aren't going to, yeah. Lots of people are going to get hit.
yes. Yes.
Oh, well.
But
When are they playing down here? That's not the weekend you're here, is it?
no, they don't play down there for a while. Because if you remember, they're doing like the first leg of the tour and they didn't announce a Dallas date. And then Dallas came on like the second leg of the show. So it might not be till like end of May or June.
It is, yeah, May 26th.
Yeah.
I think that's Memorial Weekend. That's when I'm not going.
That's when the big Texas Metal Festival is. That's surprising. I'm surprised that they're doing that at the same time. But I mean, different cities.
Kubla Khan might. I mean, they're not a metal band though.
It's a Texas Metal Festival, though. Texas is going to support Kubla Khan. I'd get it if it was somewhere else, but anyways.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, yeah. So Foreign Hands announced
Dude,
some music,
listen
which
to
is
that song?
no, but I haven't yet. But it just makes me laugh because it's like if you're in the hardcore scene, and you don't know who Foreign Hands is, you're an idiot. But it's like this is their first album. It's like Foreign Hands announces debut album. It's like, bro, I've been listening to them for like 2 years already.
I know.
Everybody knows Foreign Hands. So
it is kind of
weird.
Good? It's really good. So God under fingernails.
Yeah.
It's got some interesting riffs. It's almost like it's a bit chaotic, kind of mathcore-y. You'll have to listen to it. but it has a great breakdown at the end of that song. And then they had released Conditioned for a Head On Collision. I don't know when they released that song. They released it a while ago. It's another really good song. It has clean singing in it, though, which was a little bit different.
They've done that though in some of
I
their
know
other
they have,
songs.
but God Under Fingernails didn't have clean singing.
Okay.
And so, like, listening to like consecutively, because I had not listened to Conditioned for a Head On Collision. So I was expecting another, like, chaotic
Yeah.
song, and it wasn't that.
This is giving me major like the Bled vibes.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. I really like that song.
Hmm. I can get behind this for
I
sure.
liked I liked Condition for a Head On Collision. I just thought that God Under Fingernails was great, so I'm pumped for that. That was one that I had on my list too. And then Come Back Kid, we were talking about this before that we jumped on. So they dropped that EP. They did not hype that up.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
It kind of got dropped
When did it
without,
actually release?
like, 2 weeks ago, March like 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they really hyped up that first single that they did. What was it called? Like Winter Circle or something like that?
Um,
Is that what it was called?
Trouble in the Winter Circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they hyped that up. And I wasn't a huge fan of that. This is a
You know,
fine EP. What were you gonna say?
when I saw them last year, they only played like a couple songs off of Heavy Steps. Everything else was older.
Really?
Yeah.
Which, dude,
So, I
Heavy
mean,
Steps was so good.
Heavy Steps was good. It's not as good as their older stuff. It was still good, but I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting a band like this. I mean, this is the type of bands that we talk about every other week, you know. When you
Yeah.
get this far down the road, what you're thinking when you're writing these albums, cuz like what else do you do now, you know?
Yeah. I mean, here's the
So,
thing. I need to go listen to way more Comeback Kid because, like, I listened to Turn It Around and I listened to Wake the Dead quite a bit. Like when they first came out, I love those albums. I didn't really listen to much else. Like I would hear songs here and there, but Heavy Steps was like the first album I listened to, like front to back, in a
okay.
long time from
Dude,
Comeback Kid.
Die Knowing, that album, unbelievable.
Really?
Wasted Arrows and Losing Sleep are some of the coolest songs like that they've done,
Okay.
I think. So,
So I gotta really get into more Comeback Kid. And here's the thing: is like I saw Comeback Kid 2012, maybe something like that. So I probably did listen to more than that, but I don't know. I saw him later. Anyways,
um so outside of the two bands that we're going to be talking about right now, the only other thing I've been listening to is Ambitions. Did you give them a listen?
ambitions.
It's the dudes from With Honor.
Oh yes, I did because we had been talking about them. So that was, yeah, the 2015 EP.
I mean, all of their stuff is freaking insane. It's all so good. But that 2015 EP in particular, Complete the Divide. I mean, it says on Spotify that there's like 6,000 listens. In the last week, I'm probably a couple hundred of those, to be honest. I seriously, like, that's all I've been listening to. I've just had like this stuff on repeat. It is so good. And like, I feel like it's a very unique, especially this EP is a very unique sound because it's like, what was that? It's like Ignite, or I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like melodic punk.
Yeah,
It's so cool, and his vocals are so cool in it.
yeah. The vocals are it's what caught me, right? Because it's not screaming, but it's not like over. It's not like singing well, right?
Yeah,
They're really good, but he's not like intentionally like trying to like sing like a really good singer. You know what I mean?
right.
Like he's
I
just
mean, it's he's a he. I'm pretty sure it is the vocalist for With Honor,
okay,
because when he screams, I'm like, yeah, that's the dude from With Honor. And so
okay,
I think maybe this is like a more melodic With Honor, but with singing.
yeah, and I like it. I
It's
did.
dude, it's so good.
I was listening to this actually all weekend. I just I don't know why it escaped my mind for a second, but yeah, I listened to this guy all weekend long. This is what I had on? So
Yeah, top notch. So if anyone hasn't heard from him or heard of Ambitions, go check him out. I think they were teasing some new stuff.
that's
I
what it
think that's
seemed
what I
like.
saw on social media because I
There's either some shows or some new music. I couldn't
yeah,
tell.
I started listening to him because the With Honor guys on social media were like, "Hey, go check out Ambitions," and I'm like, "Well, why would you do that if your only album, like recent albums from 10 years ago, you know?"
Yeah,
So
and that EP is called Surface to Air.
yeah,
So
the
super
rest of
good.
it's tight too. The rest of it's really good, but I mean, it's like not as good a production, and it's a little faster and heavier,
Yeah,
but still like very melodic, lots of singing with it. And I don't know, dude. I'm all on board with Ambitions. I think they're dope. So
yeah. No, it's super good. The one other band that I wanted to shout out that I've been listening to a ton of is Johnny Baseball. Salt Lake
oh yeah,
City
nice.
pop art or pop punk,
Yeah.
but uh it's punk hardcore based pop punk. And so their new song, Pump the Brakes, so freaking good. And then they had a single at the first of the year called FOF, F Off Forever.
Yeah.
So, um, which another just great freaking song. But I've been like really wanting to find a new, like more hardcore based pop punk band. And I've listened to a little bit of Johnny Baseball and I had known them because of the local scene, but I haven't seen them live and I hadn't really paid attention. But when this single hit, like I've been listening to them a ton. And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. But this new one, Pump the Brakes, it's so good. So like it starts out and then it's like a pre-chorus kind of thing, but like the vocals like get higher and dude, every time it just freaking gets me. It's
Cool.
so cool.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I haven't really listened to them much. So
Yeah. Yeah, so give them a listen, but
sweet. So we're gonna continue our series where we look for and find newer, local, sometimes smaller bands, and just try to discover new music and some up and comers. And I'm having an absolute blast doing this. I kind of get sick sometimes of like the mainstream, even in hardcore and stuff, the mainstream bands, because there's always drama, there's always crap, there's always stupid takes. Half of them are from you and I. There's just a lot of crap with it, and honestly, it's such a breath of fresh air to look for these smaller bands that are hungry, that are trying to do things right, that still have the passion, that haven't been crushed by the scrotum of the man, and I don't know, dude. It's just been fresh. So like we've done maybe a couple months of these. I think we started doing this in like January ish.
yeah.
How have you felt so far as we've been doing this before we get into the bands?
It's a ton of fun, man. Like the first band we did was Interpersonal, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the first band? And those dudes are dope. Like, first of all, their music was way cool, but then we were able to like actually start talking to them and interacting with them, and like they're way cool guys. Like, it was
Yeah.
way fun having them on the pod. They just actually did a show where they played some of their new music, and I was reposting some of that stuff. It's awesome. So I'm really excited to find these bands early on and watch them progress, release new music, put out new stuff, talk to them about what their influences are, all that, because that's what we have fun doing.
Yeah.
Like that's what we grew up doing and what's been fun for us. It is really cool to learn about new scenes. I'm That is a huge piece of this for me. So like these bands that we're talking about today, so Commodity specifically, who we're going to be talking about, is from Birmingham, Alabama. And that's where Furnace Fest is taking place. We found these guys because they were on the Furnace Fest flyer, right? And all of a sudden, like I knew that Birmingham had a solid scene because No Cure, that's where they were coming out of. I did not know to the extent that the scene was out there.
Yeah.
So like it's going to be way fun. It's way cool to see some of this stuff. And I'm having a ton of fun just learning about the bands, the style of music, and seeing like what is comparable to Salt Lake and what's not. And, you know,
Yeah,
it's interesting.
right. And it's just kind of cool to think that, and we talked a little bit about this in the last episode we did around like local bands when we were talking about Deadlift from Costa Rica. It's just cool to know that we're like part of a community where you could literally go to the other side of the world and go to a concert and it's the same thing, right? Like I'm moshing, I'm swinging, I'm stage diving, and the music is about the same thing. We're singing about all the bull crap that we have to live with and all this stuff. And I don't know, that's just kind of a cool thing. And at the same time, like it's also not, I don't know how to describe it, but for the most part, it's not like a hey, I'm going to show this off. It's like you're either here and you're cool or you're not. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're not trying to prove anything. We're just here to beat the hell out of each other and then have a good time and listen to the music. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just cool. So yeah, I don't know. That's my soapbox for today. Yeah, the band that I found, like you said, was Commodity, and their social media they go by commodity underscore Bham. So that doesn't stand for black, like Black Forest ham. It just is Birmingham. So so commodity underscore Bham. That's their the saying Bham is like way fun. Um, that's their like Instagram and stuff. So go check them out on there. But discovered them when the Furnace Fest announcement happened, and I was like, oh, I'd never heard of them. So I went and checked them out, and I was like, gosh dang, this is some good hardcore music. So I think they've been around not crazy long.
Yeah, no, I think 2021.
2021, 2022. I think their
Yeah.
Instagram account started in 2022. So I figure that's a pretty good
Yeah.
indicator. I haven't been able to find a ton of music outside of what's on Spotify, which is really just what, like 10 songs, two EPs technically.
7 songs. Yeah. 3 on the first one and then
That's right.
4 on the second.
So they released their most recent one in 2024 and it's just solid hardcore, very unique take on it. They remind me a lot of One Step Closer. So it's melodic hardcore. It's not like a deep growl type scream. It's a very, higher tone scream, more of like an aggressive yell almost.
Yep.
But yeah, super melodic, not crazy breakdowns. If I'm seeing these guys live, I'm stage diving, I'm two stepping, I'm dogpiling and stuff for the mic, and that just is seems like it would be a lot of fun, type of hardcore. I'm not really moshing and swinging and crowd killing or whatever, but um,
Yeah. I mean, really, I think that the only breakdown that actually caught me was on Fell from the Sun. And it was a solid breakdown, right?
yeah,
And the thing about it is they keep the lyrics very simple, right? He like repeats Fell from the Sun multiple times. It is an opportunity if you're not swinging to go and do what you just said.
a dogpile,
Climb on
man,
top
yeah,
of someone, grab the mic from him, like pile on. It's going to be a ton of fun. I completely agree with you. It is a different style than what we've been listening to lately. I feel like it is very
yeah,
fast. It's very two steppy. Way more punk. They are described as melodic hardcore punk. It's not just melodic hardcore punk, and the
okay,
punk definitely shows out.
yeah. I mean, even their like Instagram says tune high, play fast.
Yeah,
And I love that. I mean, people listen to this pod enough to know that I'm not like a huge fan of like the really slow, grimy, like drop tuned, beat down hardcore. Like that's just not where I'm at in life. So these guys really caught my attention because I like the fast pace of the music. I like the high tuning. I like the melodic parts of it. Everyone knows I'm a sucker for melodic hardcore. So I don't know. I really drew into it. I like the lyrics. Apertures, their third song on their EP, has one of the coolest two step parts that I've
yeah,
heard in a while. And to be completely honest with you, if I can't two step to a band in my life right now, it's not worth listening to me anymore.
I
So
gotcha. Yeah,
yeah,
they have a guest vocalist. The Delta Hate vocalist is on there with him,
yeah,
and it just adds another level. So this was one thing that I did want to ask you though, because other bands who are like this, so like we talked about them earlier, but Comeback Kid, they're another band where the vocalist has kind of a single tone of vocals,
uh-huh.
right? One thing I'd like to see more from these guys, and it's one thing that we got on Aperture specifically with the guest vocalist, is I'd like to see a little bit of variation. I'd like to get a little bit, whether it's a gang vocal part or whether it's, someone dropping just a low here or there or a high here or there kind of thing. It got very kind of monotone for me for a second. And that's where Aperture's like stood out for me
Okay.
because of her
Yeah.
coming on there with them.
See, I'll disagree with you. It's just a preference right now for me. All the hardcore bands I'm listening to, like Mind Force, are
Yeah.
very much like that. Mind Force, I'm listening to a lot of like Life's Question, Comeback
Okay.
Kid, all that kind of stuff for me is really what's striking a chord right now for me in hardcore. So like Incendiary, like I'm totally down with that kind of stuff right now. And that's probably why I gravitated one step closer. I know we brought them up. These guys sound a lot like them, which is good because one step closer is super good.
Yeah.
But I'm okay right now with that kind of monotone. I don't need, and that's probably part of my like not caring about metal right now is I don't need freaking whiplash in vocals. I just need good music.
And I don't
So
even need like whiplash in it. Like my example of like Comeback Kid. So if you listen to him, he'll even just like trail off and go like higher as he trails, kind of thing. Like I just like this is just the same tone across the board, kind of thing. And it's a good tone. Like I really like his vocals. He sounds really good. I just need a little bit of something to break it up. Like that's
yeah,
it, again, that it comes down to personal
no, I get it.
preference, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, it's not a knock on these guys by any means. Like everything I listened to, I enjoyed listening to. Like I'd put these guys on at any point in time. I would just like if they were to drop like even like a 7 to 10 song EP or album kind of thing, I would need a little bit of something to break it up.
yeah. Like a ska song or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Some
So
trumpets in there,
exactly an accordion. I think it's pretty sick that Furnace Fest is cool about local bands because I know last year they had a few local bands. I know you had some stuff you wanted to bring up specifically around the Birmingham scene,
Yeah.
the B-Ham. I keep wanting to say like butt ham when it's B-Ham, but that's some weird ham. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So there's cool bands coming out of B-Ham right now. You know,
Oh, it's
lots of
incredible.
lots of cool music. Sounds like a great scene. I don't think you do a festival like Furnace Fest for 20 years or whatever if you don't have a thriving scene in Beham, because I would guess most of the people are from Beham that go to it. I could be
I
wrong. But.
I mean, Alabama in general. For some reason, dude, Alabama produces bands. Like it's cool. We were talking before this that the comparison between like the Salt Lake scene and the Birmingham scene right now, or the Alabama scene right now, like it's very comparable. There's a bunch of bands that are all really good, but it's a huge, huge variety. So you've
Yeah.
got Commodity, who's the fast, you got punk and stuff like that. You've got Eisen, Eyezin, who gets a little bit heavier. You have like Delta Hate, that vocalist who was on Apertures. She's super dope. Wielded Still is like heavy, heavy kind of thing. They were at Furnace Fest last year, and then
Yeah.
Twisted Luck. But
Twisted Luck, sweet. Cold Heart
Twisted,
Still is
Cold
one that.
Hard Still.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, there's a bunch. There's a dozen more, right, who are coming out of the Alabama scene currently. But it's because the big bands that have come out of Alabama, I know you're a big fan. You've talked about them. Malines from Alabama.
They're from Florida, aren't they?
They're from Alabama.
Hmm.
Is where they are actually formed. Whether they claim Florida now as their home base, because I know that's where Dallas was kind of
Yeah.
originally from with Under Oath, right? So
That's okay. So that's what I was thinking. I guess I was just assuming because Under Oath from Florida,
yeah,
Dallas played with that. So okay, yeah, Alabama's
yeah.
fine.
So
Yeah.
Maylene, Gideon, who just took
Get,
No Cure out, and No Cure is like one of the hottest hardcore bands coming up right now, kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
And then My Chisel, My Bizzle, my man. Like My Children, My
Yeah,
Bride. I freaking love them still, but they're from Alabama. Alabama's sick.
yeah.
There's some good freaking music in Alabama, apparently. So
It's weird.
it is not the first place that would come to mind as being like, dude,
No.
this is like a hardcore metal haven
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah. And
right?
what's interesting is the fact that there is diversity in it because what I have seen just being down in Texas is a lot of these southern states have very, very heavily metal influenced hardcore. I know some of these bands coming out of Bham are like that, but there's a lot of variety in like these guys, for example, that are not super metal influenced hardcore, right?
Yeah,
It's more punk influence. So respect that you can have that diversity in a scene that seems like it's traditionally more of a My Children, My Bride type influenced music, right?
yeah. I
So,
mean, Maylene probably set that standard with their southernness kind of there. Like,
yeah.
do whatever you want down here. We're in Alabama. So but yeah, the scene, it looks way cool. I really want to go to Furnace Fest. Like we keep talking about it. I think it'd be super dope. I think it'd be way fun. And just to like get a feel for like what it seems like down there, even if it is a festival setting, I think would be way fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It'd be cool to see these guys in their like home place too. So
Yeah.
I know that they've got a few shows coming up. There's this other like local smaller band out of Florida that I've been following called Southpaw.
Yep.
So they're gonna play, and Commodity and Cold Hard Still are gonna be on that bill. That's in April. They must be pretty close to like the guys from Cold Hard Still because they're playing a couple shows with them and like Twisted Luck and stuff. So
Cool.
seems like a pretty active band. Probably. I mean, what Alabama? You're is Mississippi? Is
Dude, don't
hold on,
start geography.
is
Like,
Mississippi between like Georgia and Florida, or come
no,
on,
no,
man?
no. Come on, man. You're on the wrong side there. No, Mississippi is west of Alabama, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm looking at the maps now, so I guess no, it's not, dude.
Is it
Wait,
E?
what the heck?
Alabama was next to Florida. And Mississippi.
Alabama's next to Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so,
Mississippi
yeah,
is
Mississippi's
so
west of it.
Mississippi is next to Louisiana. Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
Uh huh.
So I guess I could see why a lot of these Florida bands are heading up towards Beham because right sounds like Florida's got a pretty decent scene. I'm sure we'll get to a Florida band eventually, but that
Oh,
seems like a
yeah.
cool kind of partnership,
Yeah.
So
Especially if you're up on that kind of northwest side of Florida, right next to Alabama, just whip over kind of thing. So,
yeah. But no, cool. Make sure, yeah, definitely check these guys out. Solid music, man. Like this is 100%, in my line of hardcore right now. And I added them to the playlist. I know that doesn't matter to people, but you know, that means you're good enough to make my playlist. So
one of these days we'll drop Kyle's playlist on y'all and you guys
yeah,
can sort through all the BS he has on there.
exactly. But no, dude, I'm a fan of them. I'm going to be following them. It's good music. Go check it out.
Sick. Well, we're going to move from down south to the northeast. So, I talked about it earlier with Johnny Baseball, but I'm right now a huge sucker for pop punk. And this band really caught my attention with their latest EP. They're called Sucker Punch. They're coming out of New Jersey. And the last EP they dropped was called Better Pleasures. And that first song, Incognito Mode, just just caught me.
It's
And
great.
it
It's
is
great.
such a good song. And since that time, like I've been listening to these guys now for about a month. So I've been wanting to talk about them for a minute. I think when I first found these guys, I actually it's starting to come back to me. We were talking about like how did I find these guys? Remember how the Devils, the New Jersey Devils, are having bands come play.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
playing.
Oh
They
seriously?
yeah, they're doing it on like April 7th or something like that. They're playing the Devils game.
Sick.
So I think I was starting to like follow some of the bands who had been playing those like in between quarter thing
Uh
or
huh.
not period things.
Periods. Yep.
Periods, not quarters, because there's only three.
Yeah.
Um, and Sucker Punch popped up as a band that's going to play it. And so that's how I kind of found them. But so they're up from New Jersey. This is like a mecca, right? For post hardcore, emo core, whatever you want to call.
Hmm.
And they fit in those veins very well with a pop punk flair.
Yeah.
So we were
I
like, go for it.
I was just gonna say I had the hardest time figuring out, like, just thinking. I mean, because a lot of what we do is try and like relate these bands to other bands so that people can get an idea of what it is, and if you want to go listen to it, right? I have no idea with these guys. Like, I really don't. Like,
Yeah.
there's a couple songs where you're like, okay, I kind of get this feel, but then it's only for like 10 seconds. And you're like, yeah, it's only 10 seconds where it sounds like another band, and then it's super unique again. So it's incredible music. It scratched an itch that I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
put it that way. Like, when I first listened to Incognito Mode, I was like, hot dang, this is super good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's pop punk, but it's like not pop. I don't know.
Okay. So we already talked about, oh my gosh. Why am I blanking on that
B
name?
hams.
No, not the
Okay.
Hams. Our boys, the first band that we ever did for this.
Interpersonal.
Interpersonal. Okay, it's not interpersonal, but it gives you the same feeling as interpersonal does.
100%.
It is a throwback feel with a modern twist to it, right? So, we were talking about it. The bands that they reference as like inspirations and stuff, they say like, hey, we take inspirations from the story so far, Taking Back Sunday, Coheed and Cambria, Thrice,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Like, those are bands that they are referencing as their influences. This is a Northeast post hardcore but pop punk band,
Yeah.
is what it is.
It's so a lot of people talk about Long Island hardcore,
Yeah,
and you look at not even like that whole area. I know Long Island hardcore specifically with like Koyo and
yeah,
stuff, but then you have like New Jersey hardcore, like Thursday. It's really this weird mix of like emo, post hardcore, and pop punk. I I don't know how to explain it. It really is unique. You
yeah,
know, it's pop punk. It's fast, but it's not poppy. You're not listening to Newfound Glory when you're listening to these guys.
right,
Like,
right,
his vocals are a little more emotional. They're not as like high pitched as a lot of pop punk is. Um, Even the tuning on the music sounds a little lower, but it
yeah,
still has like the fast, like typical pop punk rhythm to a song where you just like kind of want to bounce, but you're like, I feel weird doing this because it's not like pop punk, you know?
right, exactly. So like incognito mode, it just like it hits you, and that's the song that's like, how do we like really categorize them? But then you listen to Worst Case Ontario, the second song. That's like a story so far. Like
Yeah.
it gets much more pop punk. But then you
So
get
that's worst case Ontario. Sorry to interrupt.
you're good, you're good.
The When he first starts singing, I'm like, okay, that is like 5 to 10 seconds that you could have plucked out of a story so far song. But then the
Yes,
rest of the song is completely unique. So
exactly.
yeah, when I first heard that song, I was like, okay, I get some stories so far. And then I was like, but wait,
And then
no,
it
I don't.
immediately changes. Right. Because
Yeah,
the same thing happens on the next song with You Exist. It is like that intro is Taking Back Sunday. It is Taking Back
100%.
Sunday. And then all of a
Absolutely.
sudden it totally shifts, right? And it's like it gets into a little bit more poppy and moving forward and stuff like that. These are kids that grew up on our generation, right? This is the
Yeah.
2000s, 2003, Taking Back Sunday, the Thrices, the Thursdays,
Hmm.
all that stuff. Who want to play a little bit of pop punk, and they are definitely blending that so
Dude,
well.
it is exactly like if you took Artist in the Ambulance and turned it into a pop punk album,
Okay, okay,
right?
Yeah,
If you took like what's the song off of, hold on, let me pull it up because I'm bad with song names.
yeah.
All
No,
That's
you're good.
Left.
Oh
If
yeah,
you
yeah,
took All That's Left and sped it up and turned it into a pop punk song, that's what these guys sound like.
yeah. So I wanted to ask you though, with you kind of being out of metal and stuff like that, how do you feel about their heavy vocals in these songs?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, because like I'm not a fan of long hair, pagan worshiping metal right now. Right? Like that kind of metal. I'm still a fan of like Poison the Well, The Bled,
Sure.
which is metalcore, more that influence stuff, right? Right? Like we've talked about Will to Live, like they're very metal influenced.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it, but it didn't feel like it's more of a cultural thing. I think right now is my issue with metal and not 100% the music.
Okay.
Um,
So you're okay with screaming and
100%.
pop punk?
Yeah, 100%. Because I still like A Day to Remember, like Homesick. I was just listening to Homesick because I threw Homesick on with these guys because I was like, I
Yeah.
wonder if I could relate this to Homesick. But then I kind of was like, I don't know though. But some of the breakdowns and some of the screaming was very reminiscent of Homesick.
Okay. So this is actually kind of where I was going with that. This is probably what I had hoped Easy Core would become.
Okay.
I feel like this is where I wish it would have gone, and not into all the techno stuff, right?
Not into Chunk, no Captain Chunk.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love Chunk No Captain Chunk, right?
I knew
You
you were
guys
gonna
can
get that.
crap on me, right?
Yeah.
But like this, with the screaming and stuff like that, it has an easy core vibe to it.
Yeah.
And so like it's super fun. I really like it. It has an easy core, post hardcore vibe. The song, listen, we just went through the entire list of better pleasures,
I
right?
know.
But I'm ready to ride Giants Kudu. Like, dude, that song where they get into the chorus, like I'm stuck in my own head, and it kind of like pulls the vocals out a little bit to where there's like
Yeah.
multiple. So freaking good,
Incredible.
so
Seriously.
good.
Yeah.
So I
No,
know we
dude. I
just
mean, the second I put on, I know we've already talked about the song, but the second I put on incognito mode, I was just like,
it sucks you in.
this is it. This is incredible. I don't know, and I don't. This isn't a knock on anyone else. It's we've talked about a lot of bands, and obviously, like you and I are going to talk about bands that we like. But I feel like I don't know. I don't know what it was about this band specifically, but it was almost like the bar was raised. I felt like, you know,
It feels like they should be a bigger band than they are currently.
absolutely.
Now that being said, they started in 2019 as a solo project under the name Nude Shoes. And then in 2021 or 2022, they rebranded to Sucker Punch.
Okay.
If you listen to that early EP, that early Mensch
Yeah.
single kind of thing, it is it's slower, right? It's a lot of
Right.
acoustic. It's a more post-hardcore feel almost, or like a slower. The Wonder Years, they covered the Wonder Years. You in January, they covered that. It was as soon as they put out their next EP, which is called Hope Like Hell, which is where they rebranded to Sucker Punch, and they took this much more pop punk approach.
Right.
They got more poppy. Now that being said, I really like the Hope Like Hell EP. I think it's really good. The actual song Hope Like Hell is really good. Dream Eater is really good. Trip McNeely was a song that I kind of latched onto. They found themselves though on Better
Yeah.
Pleasure. Like
100%.
they took what they had done well on Hope Like Hell and they took those influences from before when they were New Shoes and they combined those and they made something incredible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
I mean, people like, I know that we're like, we do our best to hype up all these bands because they're all good, right? They're all good. It's all worth listening to. But seriously, like I have a feeling this band's they're gonna get it. Like they're gonna get theirs. You know,
I agree.
I think it's gonna catch on. Mostly because there is a pretty big revival in this type of like pop punk. You know, I think there's two specific like paths right now in pop punk that are doing well. I think the very poppy stuff is still doing really well.
Yeah,
Okay. But I do think that there's a little bit of a revival of this kind of more hardcore, post hardcore influenced pop punk. Like there's a band called, oh shoot, what are they called? Father Deer Hands.
a freak.
They're, yeah, I know. Where are they from? I
Not a
can't
knock on
remember.
Father Deer Hands, but your name just caught me off guard.
I know. But it's very reminiscent of this where it's pop punk musically, but they scream pretty much
Okay.
through it. You look at bands like Pacific, it's a heavier pop punk.
Yeah,
Action Adventure just dropped an album last year on Pure Noise. It's a heavier pop punk. You have No Pressure that's making it huge because Parker Cannon was like, I don't want to do soft pop punk anymore. I want to do fast, aggressive. So I think that Koyo, you don't know if Koyo's a hardcore band or a pop punk band. You know what I mean? So I think there's starting to
yeah,
be this like, you no longer like that line can be blurred in pop punk. And I think this band got it.
I
I
agree.
think they got it. And I think they've done it in a way that we haven't heard yet from one of these newer, heavier, more aggressive pop punk bands. So
I agree. We've talked about several pop punk bands now. I think that these bands could all go together, right? Like
absolutely.
Sucker Punch could easily be with Goalkeeper. They could easily be with Interpersonal, right? They bleed those lines. And they can be with heavier bands too.
Yeah.
Like they can be on different bills. That I really like it. They have 6 members, so 3 guitarists, bass player, drummer, vocalist.
Oh, Sucker Punch has 3 guitars?
Yeah,
I kind of hear that now.
yeah.
So,
It feels full, right?
uh-huh.
The songs themselves feel full. And what I really like though is in a live setting, I think that you're going to get a better version of the songs in a live setting because if like so 2 of the guitarists do vocals too. One does screams, one does cleans with the
Okay.
vocalist as well. When let's say the other clean is going, you still have 2 guitarists playing. Or vice versa. If the harsh vocals are going, you still have 2 other guitarists. You're
Yeah.
never gonna lose at least that 2 guitar sound. And then to add a third over the top, there's just so much more you can do. You can
Yeah.
layer some stuff over the top. You can add a little bit of ambient. You can pull some stuff away. Like there's a very
Which you
interesting fill.
and you hear it. I think the term we used when we talked about the story so far a few months ago was melodic pop punk.
Yeah,
Like they can do that in these songs. Like again, incognito mode because that song is just
it's great.
what are they saying? I can't remember what show it was, but Streets Ahead, and they're like, no, that doesn't work. But that song is Streets Ahead of a lot of the stuff because I think there's a lot of uniqueness, and maybe it is because they're adding an extra guitar in there that makes it so you can do some more melodic stuff. So you can do some, when we talked about the Bled about different guitar parts, but also their work at the same time, but they also are different, and
Yeah,
you don't see that in pop punk. Pop punk is usually just like very generic strumming and then some, if you're kind of 4 years strong, easy chorus, you do a little bit of guitar run somewhere in there. But
right.
like these guys have the freedom to do that and you hear it. It's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool.
completely agree. So, same as Commodity, right? They've got some shows coming up. So, I already mentioned the one on April 7th with, or at the Devil's Game. They're also playing with Dropout Kings, who's coming through. They, because they're in Jersey, they tend to go up and down the coast a little bit. I've seen them in like Virginia. I've seen them go up play the Northeast and stuff. So, they're kind of in a good location to be able to make the rounds where they want to go to, which is cool as well because they're experiencing different scenes.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised to see these guys get picked up and actually like go on a big tour
Right.
sometime
Dude,
soon.
to see them goalkeeper and interpersonal would be like every era of my pop punk journey in my life in one show. It would be incredible because all three of those bands are incredible in their own way, in their own unique time of the pop punk history. I would like,
It really would.
what I really would.
Because like
If you know what I mean.
yeah,
Right in the
goalkeeper.
B ham.
Got some more pop with like goalkeeper and stuff like this guy's these Brits the easy core and everything, and then the way interpersonal starting to trend to go a little bit more into the more experimental
Yeah.
pop punk style.
Yep.
Like yeah, it'd be a way sick show. It'd be way
It
fun,
would.
and the fact that we're starting to relate local bands to each other is a way cool thing too. Like
That is true.
we don't have to only talk about who the big bands are, right? It's
Yeah.
cool to see that all these guys are there. So
Yeah. And
no, I'm super
I'm just
stoked.
and to be honest, like both the bands that we've talked about tonight, I'm just glad that there's people out there, younger kids, younger generation trying new stuff. You
Right.
know, I'm just
Yep.
glad it's not all about sounding like the bands that are making it big right now. You know, like
Yeah.
these guys are out there playing dope music that sounds refreshing, even though like we call it a throwback sound, but it's also refreshing to hear that because not like no one's doing that anymore.
Right.
You know, so it's refreshing. Even though it's a sound we've heard, it's also refreshing because people aren't doing it. So I'm just super pumped that there's talent out there these days to make this kind of music. So
No, I completely agree. So that's Sucker Punch. I want to say that all of their handles are Sucker Punch underscore EC East Coast.
okay,
So you can catch those guys. They even have TikTok and stuff. So TikTok, Instagram, Twitter,
yeah,
or X, whatever the freak it's called. So,
I
but
don't
yeah,
I don't know how easy outside of Spotify it is to find their at least better pleasures. I was sending them to my cousin because he is in love with pop punk music. So any pop punk I send, he listens to. But he couldn't
okay.
find it. He struggled to
Oh,
find it. So
interesting.
I don't know. It's on Spotify. I haven't looked at Apple Music and stuff. I know they have a music video or a couple music
They've
videos.
got a couple. Yep.
So you could at least look them up on YouTube, I guess, and hear a couple songs. But
Oh,
yeah,
let me clarify. So sucker, it's broken down a little bit. So it's actually SCKRPNCH underscore EC. So they take out some letters to shorten
but
it.
we've discussed geography, math, and now like English
Spelling.
spelling. People are coming here and they're getting smarter. All right.
Or we're just idiots, right? So it says they're on Apple Music. It says they're on Apple
Okay.
Music and Spotify. So I'm assuming that this
All
cousin
right.
is Mason. So Mason, you can suck it.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to read. We've tried, but it's been hard, you know.
Well, he can come to a show with me, and I can just show him in person. So
Do it. Do it.
cool. Well, yeah, no, two really great bands. I really enjoyed Commodity. I have a ton of fun with Sucker Punch. Next week we'll be back on big bands, right? We're doing On Broken Wings with Josh again.
Yep.
So I'm stoked for that one. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to some like early 2000s hardcore.
Yeah, it should be
So
cool. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know much about him. So,
yeah, I'm excited for it. So
yeah.
cool. Well, anything else?
No, I think we're good. So everyone make sure to check your Bham and go listen to these bands. So, and if you we say this every episode, and I don't know if people make it this far, but if you have bands that you want us to check out, let us know. You
Yeah.
know, we are open and stuff. So hit us up on our socials as well, and yeah, we'll take a look. So
Yes, sir.
cool.
Okay.
Well, alrighty. Bye.
Peace.